Welcome to How to Deal When the Shit Gets Real podcast. I'm Rietta.
And I'm Connie, and I almost forgot my cue, so this is great. We're starting off this podcast real great, guys. And we are here with the wonderful Arame Ndoye. So tell me how you deal when shit.
Oh, first of all, thank you guys for having me so much. And by the way, I love the name of your podcast, When Shit Gets Real. You can't do better than that. I love that. So my name is Arame Ndoye, and I'm originally from Senegal. I've been living in the US now for 23 years. And it's been a journey getting here where I am right now. And now I can just, officially call myself a life coach and a rapid transformational therapy practitioner. So that's what I do for a living. It's been a journey getting here, but it's also been an amazing journey with the learning and the progressing and the discovering myself, most of all. It was a lot of learning about myself and who I am. And I feel like the journey really just continues. It never ends. And that's the beauty of it.
And I feel like that's really our podcast too. Our podcast one has been a journey. And we always talk about people's journey, where they've come from, what they're doing. So you're perfect for this podcast.
Thank you for having me. Life is a journey. That's why we're here.
Exactly. Starting with your journey, what was it like growing up in Senegal? I mean, I couldn't even begin to understand. So let us know.
Growing up in Senegal, obviously, is very different from here. My childhood, to be honest, wasn't really that great for the most part. Life was, I don't come from I come from a sort of like a poor family, not super poor, but by American standards, we were. And my parents got divorced when I was very young, about 4 years old. And I mostly spent that time with my dad. And I had a lot of trauma growing up. I'm assuming a lot of us do. We all know about trauma. The stuff that I kind of dealt with as experiences was mostly sexual abuse as a kid. So that basically followed me throughout my entire life, my adult life, not even knowing. I didn't even realize how much it was affecting me as a woman, how I basically dragged those, negative patterns in my relationships with men. And just being like the person looking for someone else to love me, save me, because I wasn't feeling enough in my own, body, my own self. So just falling over on my ass over and over and over in so many relationships, and just realizing, this shit is not working. Something has to change. So it's like after, it's like there's this saying that goes something like, when the pain of remaining the same outweighs the pain of changing, then we will change. So I reached that point where I just couldn't be doing the same thing anymore. I had to make a change. So I decided to start, looking inward. For a long time, I heard about looking inward. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, look inside.
I'm like, no, I don't think so. That sounds a little scary.
I know. I don't think I want to lift that rug, look in there. No, I don't know about that.
I don't know if this will be a weird question. So if it is, just nix it away. So are you close with your dad, or was he part of the sexual abuse?
No. My dad is like fucking awesome.
Okay. Good. I got the feeling when you brought him up that you were probably close with him, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, no, my dad is awesome. Mom, my dad is like, he was not emotionally there when I was dealing with all those things. So I carried also a lot of anger and resentment towards both of my parents, really, because my mom wasn't around physically. My dad was around physically, not emotionally. So I carried a lot of resentment and anger towards them. Again, I didn't even know I was carrying so much anger and resentment. But so dealing with that for a long time, always smiling. I always had a smile on my face. People see me, they know me. Oh, she's always smiling. She's all good.
Well, you've got a beautiful smile, so.
Oh, thank you. But today I can feel that this smile is genuine, as opposed to before. I had this forced smile growing up as a young girl. Always doing this, like, things happen behind closed doors. I come out, I don't tell a soul. I just come out. I'm like, I'm fine. Thank you. Meanwhile, inside, everything was brewing, but it was so covered up. It took me a while to be able to really have the courage to peel all the layers off and be able to look at myself and face those things, and just to be able to move. Amazing, the journey that I really don't regret anything. I'm glad I took. And that's what brought me here today.
That's awesome. How did you end up like reconciling with your parents, or like did you have to like talk with them about it, or did you just kind of like let the resentment go?
So what I did was I wrote, something, not physically write it, but I call it the fuck you letters. Not writing.
Oh, I like that. Mm-hmm.
You write those fuck you letters that you actually never send. So it was one of those things that for me, it was like screaming it out and saying it out loud. I had those moments like, I fucking hate your guts. You weren't there when I needed you. What kind of a fucking parent is that? Like you have your child, you take care of them. So I did a lot of that on my own to be able to release it, because it was actual physical anger that I was feeling. And, when those emotions are trapped within you, it poisons you. And so I had to really release all of that because I was physically feeling all of that anger. And I had to choose to let it go. So once I did my, fuck you therapy,
mm-hmm.
I was able to finally let that go and just completely let it go and just be able to see my parents and love them the way I wanted to love them all along. But I had this block that I had to really remove first.
That's awesome. I mean, what a transformation. And I never heard those letters actually called something. So I love that you gave it a name.
We all do it, right?
I wrote the same thing for the people who abused me also sexually as a child. I wrote, but those were like, obviously.
Those letters should be sent.
I didn't feel that. For me, it was like going through the process of, getting that anger out, because the anger was so poisonous to me. I had to get it out, but it was, like a process of getting the anger out first and then moving towards forgiveness when I felt ready. Because, forgiveness to me wasn't about them. It was really about me. It's not condoning what they did. It's not saying that what you did was okay. No, you still fucked up. What you did was still wrong. But I choose to forgive so I can move on with my life. Yeah. Again, it's not like condoning what you did, but it's letting it go. You have to be able to release it. And every person has their own timing of doing that. You can't force a person to forgive when they're not ready, if they're not ready. But it's,
absolutely,
you want to get to a place where you can do that and completely let it go.
What brought you to the US and to New York from Senegal?
So initially I came here to go to college. So I came here when I was 20. I went to college here. And then after college, I took a few years off, I think 2 or 3 years, just to figure out what I wanted to do. And I still did not figure it out then. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to go to grad school. So I went to grad school, studied international relations at NYU. After that, I realized that's actually not what I want to do. And again, the journey keeps moving. I realized that's not what I wanted to do. And then I started to, just kind of learn more and just trying to figure out what my purpose, what I was meant to do here. Because I always felt throughout this whole time, something is missing in here. There's just something. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I feel that there's something in here that's missing. And that search, going through all of my, like trials and tribulations with, different relationships, led me to looking into myself. And looking into myself and starting to figure out and feel amazing about myself, I was like, holy shit, this is good. This led me to, I think and believe that every single person, especially us women, deserve to feel fucking amazing about themselves.
Absolutely.
The F word, I hope you don't mind.
No, we don't. Not at all. I mean, look at the podcast name.
That's true.
We're clearly not holding back.
No, not at all. You do you.
So yeah, that's what brought me to this place of, after just searching and learning. So what I really learned is like, if you want to find your purpose, or if you want fulfillment in your life or meaning in your life, you have to look inward. That's where all the answers are. But I didn't know that at the time. So I had to just go through this whole process, this whole journey. And I don't have any regrets. That was my journey, and my journey continues like everyone else's.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that brings us to like the next question. How did you decide to become a life coach? Like during this journey, what was like, this is what I want? The life coach, the rapid transformation therapy, hypnosis, all of that. How did that come to be?
wanting to make a difference, knowing that we basically are all the same. Although a lot of us feel different, so we feel like we can't connect. Like I felt like that way for a long time. It's like, oh, I want to connect to other people, but I can't because I feel different, which the fact that I feel different, that's what makes me the same as everyone else, because we all have that feeling at times of not feeling quite like everyone else. So that's what makes us the same, but we are all unique in our own. So having gone through that and realizing I have this feeling that I feel good. Like a lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times I feel like I'm high when I'm not high. You know, I'm not high on like, you know, meds or drugs.
You're high on life.
But I'm high on life. And it's such an amazing feeling. And I know that came from me doing so much work on myself. And it's like, I want to share this feeling. I want to share this feeling with especially women, because we've been like boxed up and covered up for so long. You know, it's like everybody telling you this is how you're supposed to be. You telling yourself, I need to be this way so I can be loved. And it's all a bunch of BS, like just be. But we've forgotten how to be ourselves. We forgot. Now it's just unlearning and rediscovering and relearning who you are. And that's what I want to bring. That's what got me here. That's what brought me to doing life coaching and, you know, rapid transformational therapy, because RTT is really about helping like people. For me, I love to work with women, but like helping people really discover the root cause of what it is that's holding them back. Because until you understand what's holding you back, what's blocking you, you can't move from it. So it's not about going in the past so you can dwell on it, you know, and feel sorry for yourself for fucking weeks and months or years. It's about just going back so you can kind of understand the symptoms that you're having in this present moment, because you have these symptoms. It could be, I don't know, it could be overeating, it could be anxiety, it could be depression. All of those are just symptoms of something deeper. So it's about getting to the root cause of it, figuring out what it is so you can move away from it, and then get to discover who you are or who you want to be.
So that's what RTT is essentially, is looking inward and finding, okay. Awesome.
Yeah, and it's done through hypnotherapy. First, you put someone under hypnosis. So the whole session lasts about an hour and a half to 2 hours. So I put my client under hypnosis. And then so like their hypnosis is just basically being deeply relaxed. A lot of people, when they think about hypnosis, they feel like, oh, you know, like you're taking control of my mind, you know, like you're controlling me, you're gonna make me jump over the roof or something. And it's nothing like that. You were just putting you in a super relaxed state, because we have moments in our days when we are in hypnosis, not even realize it's just deep level of relaxation where you could kind of bypass the monkey critical mind. So, and then you can access your subconscious mind, because all of the stuff that we struggle with, everything is rooted in the subconscious mind. All their negative patterns, the negative thoughts, the negative beliefs, all of those are, you know, rooted in the subconscious mind. And you want to kind of get there so you can figure out why you have those limiting beliefs in the first place. What is causing your addiction? What is causing your weight gain? What is causing your depression or whatever it is? So get in there to figure it out so you can move away from it and just open up and let your light shine, because it's been covered. So you just want to like unveil it.
How do you put your patients in hypnosis, or is that a secret?
No, it's not. They close their eyes and you kind of show them how to be like, you can even do it yourself. It's like hypnosis is like it's similar to probably, I would say, meditation, but it's easier when you're guided. When you're guided into hypnosis, you basically, because everyone is suggestible basically. And what that means is like, we're able to find a way so that you can be suggestible enough so that you can let go of the old beliefs and bring in new beliefs. So the person just closes their eyes and we talk to them in a gentle voice, have them roll their eyes. I mean, there's a whole process we go through. It's called induction, where you get the person to go deeper and deeper and just visualizing them going deeper and deeper. So that's like, we do the induction, get the person to be super and extremely relaxed. They can be laying down or sitting up. Laying down, not completely laying down, but like half laying down, where your neck is supported, your head is supported, your hands are open. So once they're into hypnosis, then we move through different scenes to figure out what got them to where they are today. and then we use other techniques to kind of help them release all of the old stuff, and then we install new beliefs. And then when we do the transformation, we also, every person, every client, we give them a special recording. It's like a personalized recording for them to listen to for 21 days. Because what it happens is like, we've basically removed old beliefs. It's like, and then we installed new beliefs. So now you have to wire in the new beliefs in the mind. You have to basically recoding and rewiring the mind. How do you do that? It's usually through repetition. And it's good to have something that's completely personalized for that person, because you can have a million recordings, but one that's specially tailored to you and what you're dealing with specifically, it's more powerful than anything. So we give it to that person to listen to for 21 days, and we check in with them, regularly, see how they're doing. And usually like within 21 days, it depends on what they're working with. You need like maybe 1 to 3 sessions, depending on what you're working with. In one session, you can take care of, because a lot of the things that I work with women is confidence and feeling enough in themselves and who they are. So that you can usually take care of in one session. But again, it all depends on what that particular person needs and what they're dealing with. We could do between 1 and 3 sessions. Sometimes we could go to 3 or 4 or 5, but it really depends on how severe the issue is with that person.
How deep rooted the issue is.
It sounds like a new form of inception. But that's so cool. Connie and I both had never heard of RTT before you had reached out to us.
It's a very different form of therapy. It's way faster than, like traditional therapy where you go to therapy for years and years and years. We don't do that. It's fast because in talk therapy, what you do is like you go every week and they basically regurgitate and you talk about the same thing over and over. It's like, you can't heal when you keep talking about the same thing over and over. You keep bringing it up. It's like you opening the scab over and over. You can't heal that way.
I see that.
So as opposed to like when you go deep into your subconscious mind to figure out the root cause, bring it up to surface and kind of know why and where that comes from, because usually all of that stuff is rooted in childhood.
Yeah.
Deal with today is rooted in childhood. So when you're able to have your client understand because they do a lot of things today, have certain behaviors, they don't even know why they do it. Like I've had that. I felt like I needed to chew on something hard all the time, and that was nuts. I was like, I need something like this. I need to chew all the time. I didn't even know why I needed that. But having someone do a session on me, I figured out that it was actually rooted in anger. Like I had all this pent up anger towards, those people that abused me, and also towards my parents. So I had this, like, I need to fuck something up, but I wasn't expressing it. I'm holding it in. The symptom was chewing on nuts, because I felt a little release when I was like, using my jaw like that. So again, that's what it goes back to.
It's so interesting, like how things manifest in different ways, and you don't even know why.
You have no idea. You just keep doing the same thing. You're like, I want to stop, but I don't know why. So when you use something like, RTT to go deep into the root cause of it under hypnosis, when you can really easily access your subconscious mind and finally understand why you're doing what you're doing, then you can get free from it.
Wow. I love it. I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
Has your practice changed a lot with like COVID? Were you like hurt by it or anything? Or did you just have to change to like Zoom meetings?
To Zoom, pretty much. To Zoom. It's like the same thing you can do in person, you can do over Zoom. Because I actually did a session not long ago. And so like the person was getting very, emotional. And then like I was asking, how do you deal with that when when you're doing it over Zoom? It's like the same thing you do when you're with the person physically. You talk to them through it. And also when a person is crying and shaking, you're not telling them to stop. You're not telling them calm down. Let them get it out, because it's a release. When you're crying or you're shaking or you're moving, it's a release. And it's very important to release it, because a lot of us, may not have the space to release it. So for me, creating the safe space for the person to be able to go deep and release whatever it is that they've been holding on, it's just like, I'm super thankful and grateful to be able to do that.
It's actually probably easier for them to like let go and release because they're in the comfort of their own home, and your
Yeah.
house can give you some of that comfort versus being like in your office or wherever.
And we always recommend our client to be in a safe space, like whatever that safe space is for you. If it's in your bedroom, I've had someone do a session for me when I was in my bedroom, laying in my bed, so I feel totally comfortable. And then you get in a space where, and then like when you're going into the scenes, you feel like memories come back to you. And then, of course, those memories might be emotional, but it's very important for me as a practitioner to let my client know, first of all, you're not reliving the past. You are in the present. You are here. You've dealt with the past already. Right now, it's just a memory of it. You're not reliving it. You cannot relive that event, even if you wanted to. You're here in the present. You're safe. Right now, you're just releasing it. Release it and understand why that and how that created your issue today. And just, release it and then replace those negative old beliefs with new ones.
What kind of new beliefs would you install into a person?
I mean, obviously they have to be more empowering beliefs, and it's usually the opposite of what they used to, like their own.
Yeah. So it'd be like, you're not going to smoke. Like, are they like really specific, or is it just kind of
you have to be as specific as you can. That's why before I do a session, I have a consultation with my client, because it's all about finding out what my client specifically wants. They have to tell me what they want. I can give you what you want, but I cannot give you what you want unless you tell me what you want. So they have to know what they want.
Yeah.
And a lot of times the client will be, they have a long list of the things that they don't want, but don't quite know what they want.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
So it's really, getting into that consultation where I, draw out those information based on the questions that I ask them. I have certain questions that I ask them where I could really draw that information out of them. Then I can use that into their transformation.
Nice.
So cool.
I like it. Yeah.
So if somebody wants to become an RRT or a hypnosis or both, I guess, what's the process? Do you go to school like you normally would? Is there a certain way to go about it?
Yeah. So RTT was created and founded by Marissa Peer. She actually is the top therapist in UK. So she founded the school called Rapid Transformational Therapy. And I was trained by her. I mean, she's the only one who trains people because she really founded it. She created, and it's such a unique way of doing therapy and helping people. And I found out about it. I was like, oh, this seems pretty good. And yeah, I did the training and I became certified.
Wow. And does that include the hypnosis too? Like, do you do both?
Yeah. So it leads you in the hypnosis because, RTT hypnosis is included into RTT. So
okay.
The induction part of it, the session is first you induce you into hypnosis. So you have to be trained in hypnosis as well. And then she has a whole technique to get a person to just, get to the root cause, kind of reframe everything, and also, transform the person basically.
Did you have to go to the UK, or does she travel?
So she initially was traveling, but when the pandemic happened, everything had to go online. But again, now you can travel to do it.
Which one did you do? Did you travel there, or did you do it like
I did it online. Yes, I did it.
Nice.
So but we did it online, and then it's a whole lot of things that goes into it. But we had like sessions with her where she would do live with us, 2 hours or so. And then we have like just a bunch of work to do online also. But it was okay. I met amazing people there, and yeah, I'm actually planning to join one of the lives soon because it's been just so amazing. And even doing RTT for myself, but having somebody do it on me, like my fellow therapist, it's been amazing to even discover myself and, certain things that I still wanted to work on. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
So when you first started your journey, did you do RTT? Did you talk to a regular therapist, or was it all just work on yourself? Like
it was just all work on myself. When I first started, I tried a lot of different modalities. I did psilocybin mushrooms. I did a lot of meditation. I love Joe Dispenza meditations. I did a lot of Joe Dispenza meditations. I did some sort of like self-hypnosis stuff also. That was pretty great. Yeah, I mean, I did a lot of like journaling, breath work, dance. I mean, there's so many ways of releasing, like all the trapped emotions. Reading, I read a lot, and I read a lot about trauma and what, where trauma comes from. And the fact that a lot of people don't even know that they have trauma. All have a level of trauma.
Absolutely.
But, oh yeah.
Some people are still afraid of the word trauma when they're like, trauma. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not traumatized. I'm like, okay.
Do you have a favorite book that you've read?
Oh, wow. The Body Keeps the Score. I love that book. Okay. By Dr. Van Besselbeck. I always butcher his name. Speaking of butchering people's name.
Hey, I did a good job.
I love that book. It's a great book. I also have that book by it's another book by on trauma. It's called Waking the Tiger. It's a great book. It's by Peter Levine, and he's the one who founded somatic training. It's like somatic experiencing. It's really all about feeling, what's going on in your body, because we forget to feel a lot of times.
Oh, yeah. I'm always looking for a good book about stuff like that, because I try to read about like mindfulness and the body and all that. So that's why I wanted to ask you.
It's a great book. So, yeah, it's a good way to start.
She will always read anything.
I will always. Yes.
Good for you. Good for you.
I just read the smut.
I do a podcast too, though. But yeah.
Oh, you do a podcast?
No, I don't do, but I love listening to podcasts. My own is in the works, but I have so many things that I'm doing right now in the near future.
Hey, well, if you ever create the podcast, you can always come on our podcast to talk about it.
Yes, and I might even invite you.
All the things, absolutely. And just like we did with our previous guests, we're manifesting it for you, that you get it out there.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, I got only recently started to learn about manifestation, by the way. And who knew how deep that goes?
It does.
Yeah. I have a lot more to learn about that. I'm looking forward to knowing more. I first heard about it, I thought it was like this woo-woo thing, but it's actually rooted in science in terms of it's really all about rewiring again your mind, rewiring your thoughts, your mind. And there's so many ways of doing that. And, obviously some are more powerful than others, but it's about whatever works for you personally.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I like it. Like my husband for the longest time too thought it was like some foo-foo, like goofy thing. Like you can't just wish for the universe to give you something. And I'm like, no. It's way more than that.
Yeah, that's what I thought at first. But then I started looking into it deeper. I was like, okay, this is actually pretty close to what I'm doing right now. So I get it.
I'm going to be real with you guys. This is the first time I've ever heard of it.
Really?
Of like how it's deeper. I was like, yeah, just manifest that shit. I like it. Like I never realized that there was something deeper. So I have learned something new today.
Yeah, I'm learning more about it. But for so far, what I've learned is that it's actually, it goes deeper. There's steps that you do in terms of like really intentionally changing your thoughts, because everything starts up here. Your thoughts, what we think about, because the thoughts and the pictures that we create in our minds create our reality. That's how we manifest. How do we manifest the negative stuff? Because we think about it constantly. Whatever we focus on, we words. So it's about changing your thoughts and your mind. And, it's like, it's a practice.
It is. It is definitely a practice.
Doing it under hypnosis is also another way of manifesting it, because you do it under hypnosis, you wire it in. And then you start acting like it in life, because whatever, it's like your thought, the more you think about it, or the more you tell you something, you tell something to yourself over and over, you start to believe it. Mm-hmm. People believe their own lies, basically. Like when you tell yourself something over and over, you start to believe it. And when you believe it, you start acting like it. Mm-hmm. So it could go either way, good or bad. So knowing that is very empowering. So you could choose what you want to think about. You could choose what you want to believe, which will then create your reality. And that's what manifestation is.
I like it. Had literally no idea until the second that it went deeper than I'm gonna manifest, like than me saying, yeah, I'm manifesting it.
It's a good way to start. Again,
yeah,
it's like
it is.
stories you tell yourself. Like whatever story you tell yourself, you start to believe it. When you start to believe it, you start acting like it.
So for people that are interested in RTT, is it something that insurance covers, or is it something that's out of pocket?
No, right now I don't take insurance, especially because, I have clients all over. Taking insurance is just way too complicated when they're, in different states. So I deal with like, just pay
Cash
not
or yeah.
In the future, I might, but right now it's just, I have to figure out an easier way to do it. And that's the easiest way to just like, do it away from insurance for now. Yeah. I mean, like I have my own insurance, but like my clients, I don't take insurance.
Do you know, do like any insurance accept like RTT as a,
form of therapy?
Yes, a form of therapy.
I don't know that there's an insurance that take it. I'm not sure. I have to look into that. I mean, it's very possible. What I do know that is that RTT is accredited by, like different, bodies like the National Federation of Hypnotherapy. Those things are accredited. RTT has an accreditation towards them. As far as insurance that accept, I don't know. I'm not sure. I have to look into that.
Yeah.
I would take it if it were easy, but with different people from all over the country, it's just a bit too complicated to deal with every insurance from every state.
Yeah, if you had somebody working for you that could do it for you, it would be one thing.
Yeah, maybe in the future I can look into that. But right now, it's a full-time job that I really don't want to take on.
So if you could give any advice to our listeners, what would you give?
Oh, wow. To put it simply, I would just say, look inward. That's like the best advice I could give anyone is look inward. And searching for, I promise you, it's inside you. Just look inward. I did not understand that for the longest. Although I know, because I felt it, there was always this teeny tiny voice whispering, look inward. But I ignored it. We all have that tiny voice always whispering. It's like that. It's like your higher self, that spirit whispers, but the ego and the monkey mind screams. It's very loud.
Yes.
So it's very easy to get distracted by all the stuff going on up here, but like the whispering is always there. It's like when you practice listening to it and you kind of turn inward, you get the answers that you're looking for. But you have to be intentional about it and actually really take the time to do it.
Yeah, what do they call that? Well, I mean, everybody calls it different things. I've read so many books, so I can't even remember which one it is that I've read. But they talk about listening to the real self, and that's what they talk about instead of listening to, because your brain is just doing its thing. It's not the real you.
It's not. And we all have different parts of ourselves. We have the kind part, we have the angry part, the sad one, the loving one. But it's like for every situation, every moment, we have to choose who we're going to listen to in that moment. Are you going to choose to listen to the bitchy one? Are you going to choose to listen to the loving one? Are you going to choose to listen to the angry one? So like in the moment, we get to choose. And I know sometimes it's hard. You're going through something and you're like, I really want to fuck some shit up. But I'm going to choose to, what would be the loving thing to do?
Yeah.
Like, what's the loving thing to do in this moment?
Yeah, and there's an awesome book called Lovability where he literally talks about leading everything you do with love and how different the world would be if you did that.
Yeah,
so
every person did that. Like, think about it. Like if every person led with love, because
how different.
We have two choices. Either you lead with hurt or you lead with love. The hurt is the anger. The love is the beauty. So we get to choose. Like if everybody is like reacting from a hurt place, nobody gets hurt because everyone is so hurt. But if you choose in that moment that, like that time where it's not easy, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's easy to choose love every single time. But when you still knowing that it's not easy and you still choose love, that's strength, that's power. And that just makes you a better person. But it's an everyday choice also, it's like a practice. When it counts is when you do it, like in the moment. That's when it counts. We can talk about it and think about it and have conversations about it, but it doesn't count unless you do it in the moment, when you you feel that negative emotion, you feel that anger, that fury, that fiery thing, and you still choose to sit back and ask yourself, what is the loving thing to do? That's when it matters.
I love it. And it's a perfect place to end it all.
Thank you. Thank you so much, beautiful queens. Thank you. I appreciate your time.
And we appreciate you. I wish everybody could have seen, I wish we used the video more. I wish everybody could have seen how genuine your face was when you said, look inward and lead with love, because you're so genuine and it comes off in everything you do.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been amazing talking with you guys. I mean, I have to stop using the word guys, by the way. This is a new thing. I'm like, why do I refer to women as guys?
I know. I do the same thing. It's cool.
My thing is queens.
I'm one of the guys.
Queens. No more guys. Queens.
No, I like it. Plus, queens just sounds more powerful anyway. So,
we're standing in our own truths and our own power. So it's all about the queens.
I love it.
Hell. 3 queens signing off.
Thank you.
So this is how to deal when shit gets real. Don't forget to rate and review us and listen to our episodes every Friday. Thank you for joining us so much, and we'll see y'all next time.